Welcome to episode 3 of the Wrestling Roundtable. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me for this fine topic today, which also ties into what we're seeing in today's professional wrestling timeline and universe, are my boys. We'll start it off from the top to the bottom. Joining me, as always, is the man, the RWD Ted Man himself, man representing Raw Wrestling Talk, Paul Morales, the Dead Man. How are you, Paul?
What up, my brothers? I'm good, by the way. I'm in Vegas.
Vegas, the 702.
I'm in Sin City doing some sinful things. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. Okay. All right now.
With Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg. And next to Mr. Paul Morales is the collector, the protector, protect your necker himself, Mr. Roberto Davis. How are you, Robert?
Hi, guys.
Big Rob.
And down here on the bottom is the one, the only, the man. You can check him out each and every week on the Max Wrestling Podcast, as well as a part of the TSK baby, the one, the only, Mr. Moses Marquez. How are you, Mo?
Good, fantastic. Damn, throw a little too sweet out there for you. Gotta wear the appropriate shirts.
Yes, for sure. Now, the other man here on our fine program is the man who is known as DC, the one, the only, Mr. Daniel Crimmins. How are you, Daniel?
Living the dream, sweating my ass off in Western New York. Y'all already know.
Yep.
Get you a bar.
So with that being said, sweating our asses off, and our asses are here to talk about what we love. That is the great art form that is professional wrestling, and a little lucha. We got to give props. We got to give some props over here to my man Moses Marquez, who in our little group chat said, "Hey man, why don't we do some Lucha Underground?" And well, here we are, the topic that is being discussed today, which also you could see some reruns of on Fuse at like midnight over the weekend, which is awesome. Yes, that too as well. If y'all can get some Fuse, some Tubi up in here, I love it, because Lucha Underground is probably one of the most underrated parts of professional wrestling history. I mean, the days of the Wrestling Society X's on MTV, Lucha Underground holds a testament to some of the great stars that we see here. And let's start into fruition here, because we mentioned Lucha Libre. Two of the things that are really going on now in Lucha Libre, even in professional wrestling, in the year 2025, an iguana is over, as we saw Mr. Iguana at When Worlds Collide. Man, we love us some Mr. Iguana. And Paul, you were in the house for that. Everybody loves them some iguanas.
You know it, baby.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Sure. Oh, come on.
No, that
His name was Jessica, for crying out loud.
Yeah. First thing, you know what? I can tell you firsthand, I never heard a crowd boom so loud for somebody I had only heard of a few times. But man, as soon as you see him come out and he started crawling out, man, that crowd just went nuts. And I was just like, okay. But it wasn't until all those spots that happened in the ring, oh my God, with Lince Dorado, I could tell you, man, that man is over like a mofo.
5 seconds of this man crawling on the ground, you look at that and you go, okay, this motherfucker does some BJJ or something. Because goddamn, any normal person trying to crawl 5 feet like that, it didn't happen.
Except for Finn Balor.
Yeah.
He's got 32 abs, so I think
yeah,
he's got the
exactly.
course,
and I only got one.
Sometimes
Rob,
that's all you need.
Rob, if you or Paul or I tried any of that shit, we'd probably fall and break a hip.
We are big.
I mean, Lince Dorado gave it a Spanish fly, for God's sake. You know, a standing Spanish fly, and landed on his bottom. So, I mean, hey, the power of the iguana, and also the power of...
Oh, you got me, brother.
You got me, brother. Nice reference. I like that. So, getting us, brother, aside.
Shout out to the dead man.
Shout out to the dead man. So the other part of this I had to mention, with the relationship with AAA and WWE, we now have new AAA tag team champions, Humberto and Garza of Legado del Fantasma, bringing it home to the WWE and the Garza family. Guys, I think that's really awesome. They showcased it on SmackDown last night. What are y'all's thoughts about, and we'll start with Paul on this, because you got to get in spirits and live and see this. Talk about AAA tag champs, Humberto and Garza, baby.
The fact that they went down there to Mexico and won them, I mean, it was a great match. I have to admit, it was a really, really great match. I mean, but them winning, bringing them back, showing them on SmackDown, man, dude, that just shows on how big, how much WWE has, believes in AAA. That now their guys are ones that are representing the company. So, hey, they weren't really doing anything. Now they can go down to Mexico and continue doing some stories down there.
Mo, hit it. What are your thoughts on the Garza and Berto winning those titles?
I took it as a little bit of a shock. Not gonna lie, I didn't think it would go down. But as Paul mentioned perfectly, it's one of those things where WWE's believing in this enough to let it happen. Not to piggyback, but I have to do it. When AEW did it, when FTR was winning the AAA tag champs, and they were carrying those around, that was the idea of it. It was to help elevate AAA, and to help kind of just garner overall attention. I mean, I hope it's utilized on WWE TV. That's the thing that I think AEW did one time. There was maybe one AAA tag title match on TV. WWE should take advantage of it. Just for the fuck of it. I mean, put it on Speed, put it on YouTube, whatever, but take advantage of it. Use it to the point of, oh, okay, well, this is that. Yeah, you're gonna have to go to Mexico to win them, but it makes the Garzas a more formidable tag team. Then again, maybe I'm just biased. I love them. I love them team. Love them so much.
To piggyback kind of off what Mo was saying, I definitely can see it. I do think they're going to do more with it. I mean, part of it is they own the titles.
Yep.
It's their property. It's their intellectual property. So, if they want to have the Street Profits, beat Los Garza for them, they could do that. If they want to do, American Made versus Los Garza, they could do that. The sky's the limit. And I think what this also does, it gets more WWE eyes on AAA.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't seen that show, if you haven't seen Worlds Collide by now,
what the hell are you waiting for?
What the hell are you waiting for,
Seriously.
Damn, now I kind of
go first, and then that.
I kind of want Street Profits to go down to Mexico now.
I think that'd be incredible.
That would be fucking awesome. But to tie in one thing, all of what everybody said, the Garzas have history in AAA.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it does mean something to the family that, the boys who are representing the family are carrying those titles now. I think that's pretty cool.
And I know, Mo is a WCW guy like myself.
Hey.
We all remember, I believe it was their Uncle Hector.
Yep.
Back in the day, wrestling around, and he wasn't, a skinny dude. Like but he could throw down with even the best cruiserweights they had.
Hector Garza was one of those sneaky guys in the cruiserweight division back in WCW. I love it.
Well, so was Super Crazy. Super Crazy was a chubby guy too, and he would go out there and go do his shit too, flips and everything. La Parca was another one, exactly. Yeah. So we could
the sixth one now.
I think it's more of the lineage that the Garza family has with AAA. So they're tying it in, and they're known. So it's not like even frickin' Santos Escobar.
Yep.
Is another guy who's also known down there in AAA, or at least in Mexico in general.
I think for me, I'll throw this name out for everybody just because of my early TNA days. Like, I remember when Shocker came from Mexico. There's a name nobody's probably heard in a while. Shocker in 2000.
He said the Shocker. I gave her the Shocker.
Oh, hey. Take
it easy.
Well, that's
wrong show. Sorry, my bad. Wrong one.
But that's the thing too, like that, the whole even Octagon Jr. wrestling on Money in the Bank for the Intercontinental title, and like Moses mentioned with FTR on the AAA titles, it's all about elevating and really working together and bringing the great tie-ins with professional wrestling. And then there was the negative side of Lucha Libre, because on Wednesday, we knew it. It was a foregone conclusion. CEO. The CMLL Women's Championship was won by Mercedes Moné.
No mames, way.
No mames.
Nobody wanted it. No. And again, it we talked about it on Facts. It looks so dumb. It just looks so dumb. At least with Ultimo Dragon, when he won and we had all them belts, it made fucking sense. It made sense. She's not the best wrestler in the world. She's If anything, she's the great opportunist of her time. She's the edge of the moment.
I like that reference.
That's not a lie, though. I mean,
and
hold on. Go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
Part of what made Ultimo Dragon work was he had Sonny Ono.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mercedes Moné needs a Sonny Ono. She needs somebody like that. Because
she's not great on this. She's just not. I don't care how you want to spin it. She could be. She's really, really good in the ring. I'm not going to take that away from her. But she's not good on this, and she never has been.
I'll say she has her moments in the ring. She has her moments.
I think for me too, before we get to Roberto over here, because I cannot wait to see his reaction. Like Mo said, as I like to call her now, Ultimo Mercedes.
Nice.
To what she's trying to do now. I mean, the best part is Aubrey was trying to give her belts, and the fucking belt fell off of her while she's friggin' trying to put it on her. And then, of course, Tony would come out with the German, and then the belts went flying. But yeah, you're trying to build her as someone who was a Japanese legend, both in WCW with the Cruiserweight division. WWE kind of flopped him from his 2003 to 2004 run. But when you have a legend like Yoshihiro Asai and the Asai Moonsault and the Dragon Sleeper that brought a lot of credence to professional wrestling, this woman certainly is most definitely not it. And Roberto Davis, I'll go with you. What were your thoughts on your girl, M2, Mercedes Moné?
So like I said during Max, nobody wanted this. Nobody asked for this. And we're just left with a big question with no answers. Why? Why is Mercedes collecting all these goddamn belts?
The same question.
There's no reason for it. She's holding a title from a very, very, very small unknown promotion in Austria. Why? I guess maybe they're known now because Mercedes is holding their fucking title. The Rev Pro title, has she defended it?
No.
Maybe once
or twice.
This TNT title, it's like being held hostage. What was the last TNT title defense that she had?
For the TBS title? That was
TBS.
Yeah. Oh shit.
TNT, TBS,
TBS, HIV. I don't know.
The Women's Television Championship. Damn it.
Yeah. There you go.
What was it? Friggin' what? Billy Starks on Dynamite? That was.
See, I don't even know because it's being fucking held hostage. And now she has another one, and It's just like, God damn, this doesn't give any hope for y'all in.
Yeah.
I will say it was funny when Tony San Diego came out and hit that German, and she looked like a Sonic the Hedgehog, just belts flying everywhere, just rings everywhere. It was glorious.
Glorious. And I'll tell you what was glorious, as we are now going to dive into it. Y'all, Lucha Underground was a spectacle. And if y'all have not checked it out, it is one of the absolute best. It debuted October 29th, 2014, and it lasted to November 7th, 2018. Now, some of the names I got to mention here. One of the producers on this show was, of course, Chavo Guerrero Jr., and another one that a lot of people really stuck out with is one of the executive producers was Krista Joseph. And for those who are not familiar with Krista Joseph, writer for WWE, a.k.a. Big Dick Johnson and his thong. The thong, coming out and dancing and rubbing oil on himself. That was one of the
90s.
Yes.
And then getting his ass kicked by the Sandman.
Oh, that's your favorite. Friggin' the cane with the Sandman. Yes. So you have Krista Joseph. You have Chavo Guerrero Jr., who's also worked on Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. When you think of Lucha Libre and you think of Lucha Underground, you definitely think the notorious, the amazing Guerrero family. So I'm going to ask this, and Mo, I'll start with you since you're the one who concocted this idea for this show. Talk about Lucha Underground when you first heard it being announced on the El Rey network of all networks as well, and getting it to come into fruition. Another wrestling promotion and company and show into the fruition.
So transparency is my favorite thing, especially talking about when we learn about different promotions. I swear to God, I thought they were bringing back Wrestling Society X. That's what I thought at first. It gave you that vibe. It gave you the warehouse feeling. You didn't know what was going on, but it was on the El Rey network. It was on one that is normally just a different. I think it was like it's not Quentin Tarantino, but his other buddy or whatever. I think,
Robert Rodriguez.
That one. I'm pretty sure that's like his network. So I was like, okay, cool. We'll see what's going on. The immediate attraction, though, was masked wrestlers. I didn't know. You couldn't really tell if it was Lucha Libre or if it was just, this is, because it's, it's Lucha Underground Society. You didn't know. So immediate garnership, I got drawn into it right away. But the thing was it was just like how when you find out about New Japan or when the WCW kid finds out about WWF, maybe there's a name or two that you recognize and everybody else is brand new. I had no idea who Tejano Jr. was. I had no idea who Pentagon was when he first started. I didn't even know what was it? Goddamn, who's
Ray Phoenix?
Ray Phoenix? No, Vampiro.
Oh,
they
Vampiro.
kept saying Vampiro. I kept looking for Vampiro, and it was this fucking fat, bald white guy. And I'm like, oh, that's Vampiro? Oh, shit. You see how fucking far out of the game I am? Because I remember Vampiro from WCW. But it was things like that that got me intrigued and just super involved. And then it's the Pentagon versus Vampiro match.
Oh my God.
Is what literally made me say, I have to tell this to everybody. I know you don't like blood. I absolutely hate light tubes after this match forever and forever will. But I still had to tell the world, you have to at least check this fucking program out. You have to at least give it a shot.
That was actually the first Lucha Underground match I saw was Vampiro and Penta. And I was just like, and I've been out of the wrestling game for years now. The show you said debuted in 2014.
Yep, 2014.
So I didn't start watching wrestling again until 2016. I didn't hit Lucha Underground until maybe early 2017. So I saw Penta and Vampiro. It's like kind of same deal as Mo. I was like, okay, I know Vampiro from WCW, but there's this fat, bald
white
guy.
Okay.
And then Penta, and then there's light tubes and blood, and it's like
a lot of blood.
Holy fuck! I was just shocked, a little bit giddy, excited.
Hey.
It was definitely different, and it really just kind of blew my mind. That's where the state of wrestling was. But I kept watching Lucha Underground for as long as I could.
Paul, hit me. What are your original thoughts of Lucha Underground's concept and coming into fruition?
Well, we talked about Robert Rodriguez. If you don't know, Desperado, Once Upon a Time in Mexico,
yes.
His production of those, are excellent by far. Go check out the movies. But the fact that he was also a producer of the show, he was lending in every bit of his knowledge as far as like the theatrics of production, for them to showcase all this. We got all the backstage segments, and everything like that. But what stood out the most was the wrestling. That's literally what stood out for these shows all together. And he had a list of wrestlers that we know now who they are. Then we may have not, they weren't exactly household names, except for maybe Chavo, Conan being, who we knew from WCW and and TNA, from those times. And we can go on a list of everybody who's there, who's been through the pipeline of WCW, WWE, and TNA. But we got to see new stars, Prince Puma, who we know is Ricochet. We got to know Cero Mero before he was Cero Mero, Mr. Penta, and of course his brother Ray Phoenix. And man, Rey Mysterio went there too. So, the fact that we had all these amazing wrestlers that were there who we now know as household names, we just see on how much of an impact Lucha Underground had on wrestling altogether.
Roberto, hit us. What were your thoughts? You mentioned Lucha Underground and seeing Penta, and which, by the way, if you guys have not checked out Ultima Lucha, it is Pentagon against Vampiro in the Cero Miedo, no disqualification match. You will not be disappointed. It's one of the best matches in the history of Lucha Underground. Your thoughts on just not only seeing that match, but where we would go further with what we saw with the Lucha style and what really getting encompassed on that network?
Well, yeah, like I had mentioned, I had been out of wrestling for a while, so I was just coming back in 2016, and I was just looking for anything I could get my hands on. Kind of looking for people that I used to watch when I was a kid. So, seeing Rey Mysterio, Vampiro, Chavo, and kind of being introduced to some of these new guys, and Penta, Phoenix, and the things that they were doing. Growing up, Lucha was always my favorite style of wrestling. That's the one I always kind of gravitated towards. Not coming from California or anything, but no, not at all. But it was just kind of something that I once I saw it, I wanted more of it, and I couldn't get enough of it. And I still can't. I wish they would bring that shit back. Bring that shit back already, somebody.
Yeah,
anybody.
And not a washed down version on MLW either.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. So, Daniel, your thoughts on Lucha Underground and the overall inception and how we got started with this company?
Well, I remember hearing about it. It's kind of like, okay, what are we doing? And then I actually remember sitting down and watching a couple episodes of it. I was really impressed, seeing kind of the violent style with the Lucha. Like, it was entertaining. And don't forget, we also had Miss Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green.
Boy.
We had Penta versus Chelsea Green, which, you hear that and you think, no.
Harry Zane.
It happened.
Yes.
It happened.
Io Sky.
And they
Io Sky is the other one, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
They asked Chelsea Green if they're like, would you, or I think it was Chris Van Vliet asked her, would you want to run it back with Penta? And she's just said, no.
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 I wonder why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder.
It would be so watered down in WWE. I mean, it wouldn't be nothing compared to what they did in Lucha Underground. So,
I think it was perfect how you said that there, Paul. The whole watered down part, because one other thing that I think you brought up a little bit of that none of us emphasized was Robert Rodriguez's overall theatrical vision. Not only did we get like great matches, but the matches weren't like how you see on WWE, AEW. They're not a full match. You got to see clips and basically like long version of highlights. So it made all the matches that much more exciting. All the kicks, it sounded like you were watching PWG. Yet everybody's slapping their thigh. They're not. It's some sound guy in the background doing it for you. So it sounds even better. And it just the backstage like interactions, you felt like you were watching a movie. That was the thing. You felt like you were watching a movie, and then you get some cool wrestling, and then you're like, okay, but I want to know what's going on in the movie, but it's about the wrestling. And it was kind of one of those like negative things where I felt like it overblended, where like you loved it so much you got caught up in the storyline rather than what's going on. But they eventually got that in seasons 2 and 3 when they started bringing out other guys, emphasizing bigger stars. Hell, there's a bunch of dudes that are in the E now that we were begging for Lucha Underground to go away so they can get out and go wrestle in the E. I remember one lovely dude, Prince Puma, for crying out now. Look at him. He's
mini Bugatti man.
There you go. I didn't want to say it. I wanted to leave the wordage to you.
He's the Bugatti man.
Bugatti man. Yeah.
Yes.
But to talk about what Rob said is like, if you look at the blood and everything that happened, and same thing Moses said, it's Robert Rodriguez. If you go back and you watch like Desperado, you look at you watch the each part of the movie where there's violence, you see the blood, you see the gore, but it's still done in such a way to where we it's an enjoyable movie and not so much like, oh my God. And you got to see it in Lucha Underground. It's like, you see these matches. We can use that Penta and Vampiro match as an example. You got to see the blood, you got to see the gore, but it wasn't so over the top to where you're like, oh, you're so pushed away from it. It actually worked well with with it and told the story.
There it is. Told the story.
Some of us just have a bloodlust. That's all.
That is
okay. That's okay. We don't judge.
We don't. Hey, we listen and we don't judge.
Hey, one of my favorite bloodbaths that I'll say from Lucha Underground that I love was the whole Mil Muertes Phoenix casket match. Yes, and having Melissa Santos and Katrina, Carly Perez, the former Maxine in NXT. I mean, like we mentioned, the intergender wrestling side, when you have the guys like Marty the Moth Martinez against Mariposa, who's cheerleader Melissa. Yes, Chelsea Green, Black Lotus, female Angela Fong. We'll be here all day. Oh God, yeah, we'll get to we'll get to the Putas McPutas, Puta to the third power in a minute. Yeah, we're gonna get to them because there was some controversy. But with any new promotion, guys, there's always that critiques, and there were two people that were very outspoken about that we're talking today. The first one was from Louisville, Kentucky, and it comes from the one and only Mr. James E. Cornette. You stupid motherfuckers! You're gonna fucking kill midgets and kill snakes? What the fuck? So Jim Cornette. Go on and say Jim Cornette says that Lucha Underground is the most heinous horse shit he's ever seen. Really? Like out of everything in wrestling, the Lucha Underground, the wrestling telemundo that is Lucha Underground, and you're gonna call it the most heinous horse shit. I am
gonna use all these goddamn light tubes, you stupid motherfuckers!
Bitch!
God damn it!
Mind you, folks, this was at a time when Jim Cornette was doing his show and he was talking about Total Divas and he called the girls on Total Divas whores. So I mean, Jim Cornette and his rants. But the other person that had some critique about it was a fellow Californian, and he is everyone's favorite uncle. Do it with me now. Clean your fucking one, the only.
You're lucky the demoness is not here, Uncle Dave.
Yeah, to clean your fucking.
Oh, sorry. Suck my dick.
Yeet.
So Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg. Added him. I'll pay you. We'll add him all in. God damn it. So Dave Meltzer would go on the Wrestling Observer. He used to do reviews of Lucha Underground, and he would claim that Lucha Underground doesn't allow you to take it as anything but mindless fun that you can't take seriously to begin with. So, to claim two visual viewpoints about this subject, and Mo, I'll start with you because I know you've quoted Dave many a times in our shows and just in general. Dave Meltzer and Jim Cornette, two of the wrestling journalists and one who has been in the business as far as managerial roles and booking promotions like Smoky Mountain, legendary figure in professional wrestling. Your thoughts on the Cornette and the Meltzer viewpoints of Lucha Underground? Go.
Oh, God. Okay, so there was a time and a place where I could understand, or I guess I could respect everything Jim Cornette would say because of his longevity in the business, everything he's done, the whole whatever. But once you see exactly how biased he is and whatever, it immediately everything goes out the window. With Uncle Dave, I can full on admit I was an Uncle Dave drone, whatever. You know what I mean? I was his niece. I was nephew. Oh, not niece.
I was about to say, wait a minute.
Pause.
I was his nephew, if you will. And everything, I don't want to say everything said was gospel, but it made sense because another guy in the business forever, never has been paid by anybody outside of the writing aspect. But the fact that Jim Cornette shits on everything. The second he doesn't like it, he's going to go ham on it, and everything is bad, is terrible. It's with the fucking Outlaw Mud Show. Outlaw Mud Show is my absolute favorite saying by him. Even though I don't like him, whatever. To each their own. But it was in a way, sure, you could say it's mindless violence. Why not? Isn't all pro wrestling mindless violence?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, there's a storyline behind it, but at the end of the day, it's still mindless violence. So, I mean, we're talking about one, we're talking about it all, you know what I mean? Potato. With the Uncle Dave thing, the not able to take it seriously, I thought is like, I took that to heart, to heart, because yes, this one is way more scripted than everything else I'm watching, for sure. But aren't you supposed to be overly invested in the movie? Aren't you supposed to be overly invested in that TV show? Shouldn't you be clamoring for seasons 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth? If I'm going to take it as it's mindless bullshit fun, then I don't need to watch it. It's not that important to me. That's like the indie show down the street. If I got $20, I'll go. But Uncle Dave says I shouldn't be that interested because it's mindless fun that doesn't mean nothing. So why waste my $20? Or, let me just fucking bring this back here. I can enjoy myself watching this thing, get invested into it, you know, and then every time Prince Puma got screwed over, you get a little upset every time the monster Matanza Cueto gets released from the cage, you're like, oh shit, who's gonna die now? And it gave you the feels, which is something there's a reason we've watched this sport for as long as we have. There's a reason why Rob took a break and came back when he did, because it gives you the feels. It gets you in the gut and the emotions. There's grown men that cry, I'll give a perfect example. All these lovely football shirts behind me. There's grown men that cry when they win cups. There's also grown men that cry when their guy wins the championship. When Bryan Danielson won the championship, we're screaming and hollering.
Definitely not us when Kenny Omega won the New Japan Pro Wrestling title.
Exactly. They're supposed to be this way. You're supposed to be invested regardless of how scripted or not scripted it is.
Agreed. I'm one of those guys, like when Jeff Hardy was doing his redemption story in 2008 and when he finally won the WWE title, got me in the course, because you're invested for Jeff Hardy wanting to finally win the big one and overcome his demons. That was wrote out perfectly. And I mean, that's the thing. You have to be invested. It's like if you watch an action movie and you don't know, if you're watching Die Hard and all you see is action spots and yippee-ki-yay motherfucker. Okay, where's the rest of it? Yippee-ki-yay motherfucker is awesome, but what the fuck is the rest of it? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we'll move it on over to Dan. We'll make it from the bottom to the top over this in our screenage here, folks. Daniel Cribbins, your thoughts on Uncle Dave and Jim Cornette? You stupid motherfucker!
I absolutely detest both men.
To be fair, you detest almost
a lot
everybody.
To certain degrees.
There it is.
But these two, especially,
that bad.
I'll just never understand why people take them and treat what they say as gospel.
Yeah,
make that shit make sense.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Now, Paul, we'll go over to you. Jim Cornette and Dave Meltzer, JC in the DM. Nobody sliding into him. Hit me.
Hey-o.
You already know how I feel about Dumb and Dumber.
Oh.
It's widely known. Dude, don't even start. Dude, you already know. Don't start with
Goldberg.
Yeah, thank you. I think Jim Cornette is like one of those guys that, he likes to hear himself speak, much like Dave Meltzer. They love to hear themselves speak. And it's like Dave, I understand, for so many years, he's been in the business. He's been involved in the business. He knows a lot about wrestling. But at the same time, the only time he's been involved in wrestling was literally sitting in the room, basically jacking himself off, listening to everybody else do all the work.
Yeah.
Just because you were there doesn't make you an expert. Just because you were in the room when they developed on how to make the rocket doesn't make you a rocket scientist.
No.
At the same time, it's like Jim, I get it. He loves to hear himself talk, and he loves to just say all the things that he feels like, that things that should happen, things that should happen in wrestling. And I get it, it's understandable, but man, to critique something like it's like the worst of the worst. Him critiquing, Lucha Underground is bad because he doesn't understand that it's different. And every wrestling company is different. It's not going to be the same. Like WWE is not going to be the same as TNA, not going to be the same as AEW. It's not going to be the same as MLW, AAA, CMLL, all these other different companies. Even go over to Japan. Everybody's different, but we love watching them develop. We love watching the production of them. It doesn't matter who's wrestling, so long as it's something that's entertaining to us.
Oh, agreed. I mean, if you look at this time period when Lucha Underground started, the WWE was doing the Authority storyline in the main event of Hell in a Cell that month with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose in the Hell in a Cell, and then Bray Wyatt returns with the hologram in the middle of the ring. And then the TNA side, they're doing Bound for Glory in Japan with the main event being the Great Sonata and Catboy James Storm of the Revolution against the Great Muta and Tajiri. So TNA was Yes, TNA was doing its stuff with Pro Wrestling Noah at the time. So there was something for everybody. And then Lucha Underground comes along and boom, here we are. So Roberto, your thoughts on the Louisville, Kentuckian slugger that is, Jim Cornette, you son of a bitch. And
so my thing about Jim is, he was always kind of one of my favorite bad guys growing up as a kid. So coming back to it, it's just like, oh, okay, cool. He's still doing his shtick. He's still in character. Cool. And then as time passed, the character didn't drop. So I started to realize, oh, maybe it's not a character. You're just a fucking asshole. Who would have fucking thought?
Because, kayfabe never dies.
Yeah. Hey. And we've developed a parody of him on our show. And it's absolutely fucking hilarious every time we do it. And I don't care how much we do it. We can do it forever. It's never not going to be funny. You stupid motherfucker.
It sounds like Mickey Mouse kicking the living shit out of the Jonas Brothers. I said you're going to do this right here, right now.
That's how we're going to do this. As far as Uncle Dave goes, it's gotten to the point, and maybe it's just because I'm old now, and people get really hung up on his opinions. Like, I'm scrolling through the timeline and people are, Uncle Dave's biased. He hates WWE. Well, he already told you he prefers that style of wrestling. So of course he's going to give the stars higher. Who fucking cares? You people get butthurt over one man's opinion.
I mean, I'll equate to Rob for a second.
It shouldn't be that way.
Rob, I'll equate it to you. We just did Kenta Kobashi and Samoa Joe, which was one of Dave Meltzer's top 5-star matches in 2005, voted as match of the year for the Wrestling Observer. It's something for everybody, like watching that man, Kobashi's first time in Japan, the chop fest, the suplexes, the dome pieces getting rocked, everything. So, yes, the dome piece destruction.
The dome piece destruction, and it was that. And it was beautiful. We'll agree 100% of that being a 5-star match. 100%. But just to kind of bring it to the current future, people are butthurt that he didn't give Chad Gable or Grande Americano, who is not Chad Gable, by the way.
Not Chad Gable.
Not Chad Gable, and Vikingo a 5-star match. So what?
It was a great match. I love it.
It was a great match.
I mean, they may look alike, but
Yeah, I mean, hey, now
similar body styles, but that could be anybody.
Could be anybody. As the fact that he fits in Chelsea Green boots is a whole different story.
Right, hey.
But people are butthurt that he didn't give this match 5 stars. So what? If you give it 5 stars, give it 5 stars.
And
not that big of a deal.
No, not at all.
To piggyback off what Rob said, like what you like. Who cares what anybody else thinks?
Amen.
Seriously.
Suck my dick. Yeet. Yeet. That's for you, Demon.
Yeah, it's like sorry. It's like Michael over there who likes midget porn. We're not going to judge him. We're just not going to judge him. Hey, to each their own. Maybe a little bit, but to each their own.
Right.
We listen and we don't judge.
Exactly. See?
Well, you've done enough shows with me to know, Rob, that I do.
Okay. See, at least
that's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
If you want to see more, check out Kicking It with the TSK. Mike's gonna put a link.
Hey, shameless plugs.
Number 1.
No shame here, buddy.
So,
shameless plugs.
So I will say this: my Bridget the Midget obsession aside, we'll move on.
First off, I'm not mad at it. I'm not even mad at it.
Not at all.
Quality stuff right there.
Hey man, I got the Cat Hell series on repeat. Let's put on some.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
So we are going to move to what I like to call, this is the news around the time, so it fits with our topic at hand, folks. And then we'll dive into our favorite matches and moments from this fine program. This segment I like to call Putas, Pendejos, and Hernandez. So let's start first with Hernandez, because Hernandez was actually big around this time period. A huge news story happened. So we're actually approaching the 10-year anniversary of this. So Hernandez, it was Supermax himself, would sign with Lucha Underground in March of 2015. And on June 24th, 2015, as it quoted here on Reddit, and this is also what somebody as well wrote on a lot of wrestling news sites at the time, Hernandez became the second wrestler to ever pull a Rick Rude, appearing on TNA Impact and Lucha Underground on the same day. Both companies would fire him over it after Lucha Underground hit TNA with a cease and desist. So for those that remember at this time, Hernandez would come back, and he was originally going to be a part of the Beatdown Clan with MVP, Samoa Joe, Kenny King, Low Key, and his deep voice, and many others. So they had the Beatdown Clan going, one of the early incarnations of the mid-2000s of TNA, which was a great group in its own right. So Hernandez made one appearance, then he got sacked from both companies due to the cease and desist by Lucha Underground after signing with them 3 months prior. Supermex himself, where did we start here? I know where we'll start. We'll start with Roberto on this one because live and die in LAX. Conan, we're not going to toss the salad, but we're going to show him some love because
Orale.
So, Rob, talk about Hernandez getting sacked from Lucha and TNA. Cease and desist, bitch.
Yeah, again, I was going back and kind of watching this and just kind of like, yeah, holy shit, wow, that happened. So yeah, not a whole lot there.
Alrighty, moving on. But totally fine, Roberto. We know you're getting back into the swing of things. I like your style, man. You're getting back into it. That's the beauty of it. You
just
come back and
swinging it around, trying to get caught up.
Are you spinning it like a helicopter? You raising up?
I'm spin it round, right round.
Are you writing it in your diary like
a record player, baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's swinging it like a wrecking ball.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marley.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, we'll go to you next. Your thoughts on Supermex getting canned from Lucha and TNA cease and desist on your ass?
2 simple words.
Yes.
Fucking dumbass.
Fair enough.
Honestly, like, I'll be honest, I met the dude at a TNA house show a number of years back. Super cool dude. Like, dude had a look. Like, he could have been something. And when was the last time you heard from him?
The OG LAX storyline from 2018, 2019. That's
Jesus.
That's long time.
Can always count on Dan to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Hell yeah, keeping it real. Mo, your thoughts on Hernandez?
Keeping it real goes wrong.
Hey, your thoughts on Supermex? Mo,
Lucha.
Thank you, Lucha. TNA hit me.
So I remember seeing Hernandez like super briefly in Lucha Underground during the first season.
Oh yeah,
and I think he had like 1 or 2 matches that half-ass stood out, and then I kept hearing. Well, I kept trying to be that guy that's watching everything, so you try to keep your ear on everything that's happening, especially TNA at the time. And then I just remember that he disappeared. Just kind of I was like, okay, guy's not on this one. He didn't show up over here. The internet was buzzing that he got fired, so you do a little digging, and well, first off, that doesn't surprise me. You know, trying to play it both ways, especially how fucking concrete Lucha Underground contracts were. Considering like it took forever and a day, took 2 years after Lucha Underground went off the air for Ricochet to be free from his contract. So
yes.
Again, for that to happen, 1 year, an idiot to just be like, oh, it's cool, fuck him. I'm a fucking, I'm loyalty or whatever, because it wasn't. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this whole thing with Hernandez going to TNA ended up costing MVP his job.
Yeah, MVP was done like right after that. That makes
sense.
Yeah.
Just ruined it for everybody. Man.
Like the Beatdown Clan just kind of like fizzled out. Like,
oh yeah. Then they
it was at that moment he knew he fucked up.
He fucked up.
That was when they started feuding with the Rising, Drew McIntyre, Eli Drake. Yeah. And good old Tama Tonga when you need him as Micah. There you go, Micah.
that was Tongaloa.
Tongaloa, thank you.
Tongaloa.
Fucking Tongaloa. Anyway.
The infamous Tongaloa.
Paul, your thoughts on Hernandez getting fired from TNA and Lucha Underground?
You got to be a stupid motherfucker to get fired on your day off.
On your day off.
Damn, Craig.
Steal the box.
You had to have had known that if you signed this contract with these people, knowing that you're probably in breach of that contract over there, you gotta kind of know that something's about to happen to you. I mean, it only makes sense, right? I mean,
Nah, bro.
You know what? It's a case of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And unfortunately, he did, and damned him, he did. And you know, like I said, we all knew he fucked up when he showed up on both shows. So
He knew he fucked up.
You know, I remember when that happened. People tried comparing it to I think it was Robbie from the Highlanders back in the day.
Oh God, with the TNA appearance, yeah.
Went to TNA as a fan, just to watch the show. TNA showed him on camera.
Yep.
And they showed his gimmick name, and like you can see, he's like trying to hide his face. He's just trying to go watch a wrestling show.
Got pointed out.
The next day, WWE, I remember, put it out on the internet just saying WWE has come to terms on the release of whatever their government names are, aka the Highlanders.
Yes.
Both of them got fired for one of them just going to see a wrestling show.
And then JBL killed them on Raw, and that was the end of the Highlanders. Yeah, I remember that. I also, it's funny that Dan brings that up. And like the Paul Morales just said there with the Friday reference, I think you need to call Willie Jones and call on Tyrone if Hernandez is going to keep doing that. But I digress. So I look at it from a stance like this.
You got knocked out.
Fuck out. So getting the fuck out. We got the Hernandez side on the way. We got the 4-piece coming up, the 3 putas and the pendejo. So let's start with the pendejo first. So Alberto Del Rio. Now known as Alberto El Patron, when he wants to fight Triple H and the Usos at Cantina, and y'all better not be disrespecting my baby, he goes to Lucha Underground. He gets fired for the social media manager fight, pretty much the social media manager calling him, quote unquote, the help. And it was a very bad release from WWE. He goes, and one of his earliest dates is with Lucha Underground, has the feud with Tejano Jr., and he's all up in the mix for the Lucha Underground Championship. Short run, and then he would, of course, go to Global Force Wrestling. Then he would get fired from Global Force Wrestling. Yep. And yeah, that's the legacy of Alberto El Patron Pero. And to those who thought that he was going to be on WWE with the AAA merger, no, hell no.
They screwed him so hard they didn't care that you knew it.
No,
yeah.
No, not at all.
You know, Mike, even just by saying his name, I need some fucking Patron.
Hey. So let's start with all right, Dan, sour sauce. We'll start with you on this one. Hey. Let's talk about Alberto El Patron. You need some Patron. Your thoughts on his initial debut within Lucha Underground after his WWE.
Hit him with the sour sauce.
Why? Literally, fucking why? Like literally everywhere this dude has gone, he's been a fucking problem.
Yep.
He was a problem in TNA. He was a problem in WWE. Both times. Like, Vince was not the kind of guy to give people multiple chances. I mean, that's kind of like a Triple H thing, but...
Hold on. There was a Hulk Hogan there somewhere.
Don't forget
where he gave a chance a couple of times.
Patron to Hulk Hogan.
That's close. That's close.
Hogan could draw money.
When it comes crashing down.
Oh, man, that hurt.
Oh, you got me, brother. But seriously, I'm sorry, but somebody fucking take him. You know, maybe he can go control his narrative somewhere.
Oh God! Now,
no, don't even do that.
Well, Conan had the best response to this. I'll do a Viva La Raza all day, every day. Bow wow wow, yo yippee yay. Conan was like, he mentioned it on Keeping It 100 along with his co-host, Disco Fever. Yeah. So he mentioned on it because when he was asked about the Alberto El Patron situations that have happened within AAA, he was like, we don't do that cancel culture over here. This is Mexico. And just because people don't want me to book him doesn't mean I'm not going to book him. You know what I'm saying? If he's a draw in Mexico, I'm going to book him. So he was saying it works different here with the cancel culture and the Mexican government. So he was very much set in stone on his reasoning for booking Alberto El Patron, even for all of his misconceptions and everything that he's done. So with that being said, I will move over also from the bottom to the top on this one. Moses Marquez, your thoughts on Alberto El Patron fighting at the Cantina, going for Triple H and the Usos' heads, him with his baby Paige, and everything that went into the debut at Lucha Underground. Go.
Okay, so when he showed up in Lucha Underground, as much as I'm like, I want to just sit here and agree with D all day long because it's like, why? What's the fucking point? He has history in AAA, so It's like, okay, fine, I guess. I mean, fucking Chavo's there, why not? Type of shit. Now, granted, this was before the roller coaster and him went fucking downhill fast, but boy, when it did, it did. I didn't hate it at first. I thought he was going to bring something to the fucking program. However, it's exactly what it is everywhere he goes now. I'm a name, push the fuck out of me, whether you like it or not. And the answer is always, we don't like it, so we don't have to have you, so you can go away. And I will admit, I did enjoy the match between him and Tejano Jr. Oh, yeah. Then again, there was a lot of matches that Tejano Jr. did that I liked. So I'm saying, hey, man, you're one in a dozen, fam. That's really not saying too much. And then overall, just Alberto El Patron, I always go back, and every time I want to have a giggle at this man's expense, I think of his extremely short Pride career, where he tried to fight in a face mask and gets absolutely fucking destroyed in a matter of, I think, 2 minutes. So it always brings me a giggle. Glad his run in any promotion hasn't lasted very long. I'm glad they screwed the living dog shit out of him in AAA. He does not need to work any wrestling promotion outside of one's deep in fucking Tijuana, and that is it. That is it.
This one over here bringing up Pride and the fact that friggin' Alberto El Patron Dos Caras Mil Muertes, the bull rope match, taking it back to the Texas bull rope matches with Tejano.
Oh, God.
Man. Now, Paul, hit it. Alberto El Patron, give me some Patron. Him and his baby Paige fighting at the Cantina.
Oh, she whooped his ass. I know she would. She whooped his ass.
Dude, he can't. This isn't anything that has to do with him being in the ring, because he's not really like excellent for by far anything technical in the ring. He's good. Okay, fine. But we're talking about he's just toxic. He's just very, very toxic no matter where he goes, whether it's WWE, TNA, down in Mexico, he's still toxic. It doesn't matter where he's at. He's just this toxic individual that everybody is just like, oh my God, why do you keep hiring him? That's probably the reason why they took the title off of him and gave it to Vikingo so he wouldn't have to come to the States. It's because he didn't want anything to do with it. WWE wanted nothing to do with him. Yeah, he's under contract with them, but he's under contract down there. Cool, fine, dandy. Leave his ass down there. But man, that man is just trouble wherever the hell he goes. It doesn't matter where the hell he goes. He's just trouble. Why anybody still wants to work with him, I have no idea. No, he's not a draw. No, he's not Hulk Hogan. But goddamn, it just makes no sense to me. And to me, it's garbage. It really is. It's just garbage. And he's garbage.
When you return to WWE, which they put you with Zeb Coulter and Dutch Mantel, which makes no sense because he was feuding with Jack Swagger, and that made no sense when he came back. And then he's in the League of Nations, and then he's gone. His second WWE career was a flop. Then he goes to TNA, and the big feud that he has is with Austin Aries when he's eating a steak, because you get it, Austin Aries is a vegan, everybody. So they're going for the title match.
Who knew?
I was just, who knew? He walks out. It's a whole fuckery of just nonsensory.
Ricardo Rodriguez was more entertaining than fucking Alberto Del Patron.
He was. Give me some El Local, for God's sake. Or Ricardo.
Yeah, let him come out in his freaking Z280ZX. You know, that's all I want.
Roberto, you want to add any more thoughts to Alberto El Patron, the Cantina, the baby, and all his fuckery?
Yeah, I'll agree with Mo. His match with Tejano Jr. was pretty good. I didn't mind that. But everything else, WWE, TNA, Lucha Underground, not a fan. Wasn't particularly a fan. Don't know what people see in him. Still don't know what people see in him. Was definitely okay with him getting screwed over by AAA. Hey, Alberto, we need you to put the belt in the box and send it to America, please. You know, 100% okay with it. If he's never on TV again,
It'll be too soon.
Fantastic.
I'll pay you.
I'll pay you. No, God, if he fucking hires him.
Come to my yacht.
Come to my yacht.
I've already been afraid of the death of AEW under the fucking eyes of TK. Bringing in fucking El Patron would be quite literally it.
Would pretty much close the casket and just throw it in the ground.
It might as well be fucking WCW in 2001. You know the ship's going down,
So before we get to our moments, memories, and favorite stars and worst stars that came from Lucha Underground, because there was a lot of everything, we are about to talk about the final headlines from that year. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Puta to the third power. So let's start. Let's start with this situation. So a young Tessa Blanchard was involved in a situation. So let's call this one Puta number 1 versus Puta McPuta. So Ivelisse and Tessa Blanchard had a dark match. So Ivelisse injures Tessa Blanchard, a very young Tessa Blanchard. And what happened was there was an injury that required surgery within her shoulder. She detailed this, Tessa, in her shoot interview on High Spots on Egos Amigos with all Ethan Ego Page. Ivelisse never apologized for her role in the injury or asking for updates on her health. To quote what Tessa said and what Ivelisse has said in many interviewers, I did not make my name off of my family name. I came from the streets. I made my own name. And that was the reason why she took liberties with a young Tessa Blanchard at her tryout for Lucha Underground in the dark match. So there's been heat with them for several years. And Ivelisse just said, hey, I'm my own person. I'm authentic. I came from the streets. I ain't got a family to tie my name to. And Tessa Blanchard was like, what the fuck? What are we doing here? And even people backstage in the background were like, what is this woman doing? And Ivelisse, being the veteran that she is, because she's wrestled since 04, going in with Tessa Blanchard, it became a very public thing that came out around that company at the time. So we'll start it off. We got Putas and McPutas. So I'm not going to have a Big Mac and a double Big Mac, but we're going to go over to Paul Morales here. I'm loving it. So let's talk about the Putas, Ivelisse and Tessa Blanchard. Your thoughts on the incident?
Well, we could start with Tessa Blanchard's history because
God,
if you know anything past this, I mean everything was La Negra,
La Rosa Negra,
La Rosa Negra. The fact that everybody knows that she's racist, and that's not even cleaning the surface. That's just out there in public. Shit that she said literally on social media. You put it out there, when you open your mouth and you start putting all them characters up on that shit, name of that insurance company is called Your Fault when you get backlash. The stuff that everybody has dealt with behind the scenes. Chelsea Green is another one who actually witnessed it, the abuse that she did. It's understandable that people literally hate her. And that one thing is that she never apologized for it. Mm-mm. And now she's kind of using it as kind of like a stepping stone, because that's what she's doing in TNA right now.
With the Indy Hartwell.
With Indy Hartwell. It's literally like she's using it to help with this character that she has. And I don't understand how they're allowing her to do it. But hey, to each their own. You know, Ivelisse, you go back to the match that she had during COVID with Thunder Rosa. Oh my God! Talk about I don't sell for nobody.
Nope.
She whipped her out of the corner. You know, she just sat there and just went like this, put her hair back, and she's all like nonchalant. Oh, okay, and sold nothing. And I can imagine Thunder Rosa, who was actually in Lucha Underground too. That I can understand her being so pissed off with her. I would be too. I probably would have slapped the bitch in the fucking in the damn ring.
Yeah.
I'm using that as a paraphrase for Thunder Rosa, just kind of thinking of this was Thunder Rosa, trying to think if it was her, I would have slapped the bitch upside her head and I'd be like, bitch, what the fuck you doing?
Chingazos.
Mucho chingazos. Give her all the putazos like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, it's like a never-ending battle. It's like a never-ending novela between those two.
There you go.
Roberto, your thoughts on Tessa and Ivelisse? And I'm not going to spell, but I'm going to hurt you and take liberties. Go.
Well. Paul did bring up Tessa's history, everything after this. We actually did not one, but two shows about Tessa Blanchard over on Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling. So if you have no idea what
which you can find in the link below,
which you can find those episodes in the link below. If you have no idea what we're talking about, we can get you caught up. But
number 2.
The fact that Ivelisse and Tessa Blanchard were in the same company for a hot minute, god damn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I personally, I was cool with Ivelisse up until the whole Thunder Rosa thing, but the fact that she had to bring up that she was from the streets. When you're from the streets, you don't have to tell anybody.
This is true.
As somebody from the streets, and that's probably the only time I've ever said that, you don't have to tell anybody.
No.
Those of us raised in California, you will back me up when I say this. You don't have to tell anybody. So to use that as an excuse is lame as fuck. And you got everything that was coming to you.
Tell me your hood without telling me your hood. That's exactly the only way I gotta express it. Tell me you're from the hood without telling me you're from the hood. Orale,
if you can't, then you're not.
And exactly.
I would just like to say I'm literally dying from the 3 hand raises from the Cowboys.
That's fucking so true, though.
I know.
We all know. There's only one of us that's from the hood, and it's Mike.
Oh God, of course.
The fact that Mike's from the hood, bro.
Oh, mean streets of Myrtle Beach, baby.
Myrtle, baby. The mean streets of East Islip, friggin' the suburbs.
I'm there. Oh,
you know these New York born guys, they kind of stick together, you know what I'm saying?
You know, Mike reps his city.
I do rep my city, Tough Titty Miss Kitty.
Tell me you're from Long Island without telling me you're from Long Island.
we do have our rough areas, but yeah,
he's better than you, and you know it.
Okay, so Cali boy number 3, Ramon. Go ahead with your
Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg, not
Evil
from California.
Edit.
Oh, okay. So Tessa Blanchard, I know of because again, if you see the lovely poster behind you, I know of her stepdad. That's not her real, her stepdad. And so I gave her the benefit of the doubt, whatever. I didn't mind her. She obviously came into her own fucking issues. The whole thing with her being racist, being so obvious that she goes and marries a Mexican.
Oh God,
that just fucking still throws me for a fucking loop. And then you have beef with nothing but Latinas for some reason. I don't know. And then with Ivelisse, I was just hoping that this was just one of those rough-edged people. You know what I mean? I'm not as professional wrestler as the rest of the professionals. And she proved that, no, she thinks she's above the rest. And I think I remember watching this with the boys. Her and Thunder Rosa, and it was like, what are we watching? What are we seeing? Why are you There's an old time. There's a time and a point. There's a time and a place, I should say, where you can no sell for a little bit to add on to the tension of the match or whatever, but to literally, I'm going to use this term nicely, pull an Austin Aries and not give a shit. That's on a whole other fucking level of just, there's a reason why you're not on TV anymore. There's a big fat fucking reason why everybody got excited for you to be in AEW, and then they were so glad that you weren't hanging around. As for Tessa, I don't want to say she paid her fucking dues. Somebody's still willing to put her on TV because she's a draw, I guess. I don't know. I just know that she's not going to get any further than where she's at. And that is, as Paul said perfectly, that is because of the checks you wrote at the bank called Your Fault. I'm stealing that, by the way.
This is what happens when you start writing so many characters up on your screen, and you figure you're just going to sit there and talk shit. Acting like that is not going to come back to you. People retweet that, and then they find it, and then they bring it back to you later on, which is exactly what happened. But which is exactly what happened when she signed with TNA.
Because Chelsea didn't forget.
Nope.
Oh no.
Chelsea sure as hell didn't forget, and she brought it up.
Yeah, Priscilla Kelly didn't forget. Friggin' Isla Dawn didn't forget.
He said, we got receipts, fam.
Receipts, fam. Now, Dan, your thoughts on the two putas before we move to the final puta? Go.
Good Lord, the sauce is going to be sour.
Situation even worse is she tried saying, "Oh, I apologize to everyone. You know, I'm good," and everyone's just like, "No, you didn't."
No, you didn't.
And I remember Chelsea Green being like, "Yeah, you never apologize to this person, that person." She's like, "You literally called," and I forget who it was. She's like, "You literally called this person an N-word."
Yeah, La Rosa Negra.
La Rosa Negra.
And like, she she's just like, "No, I didn't.
I did."
I think the best.
If her last name was not Blanchard,
Oh, yep.
she would be done. Like she wouldn't get work anywhere. She'd be on some random fucking bingo hall in East Jesus nowhere.
Yep.
Like, the problem is that she's a liability. Why do you think WWE hasn't signed her by now? Why do you think AEW never really gave her a chance? She's a liability.
Why do you think women in wrestling let her go?
Oh God!
Hey.
When you get fired from WoW, you know you're
Dude.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you think about it, if all this shit had never happened and she wasn't a garbage person, you can't tell me the WrestleMania match wouldn't be her and Charlotte Flair.
Of course.
We would have been seeing that one by now. We'd be clamoring for her and Rhea.
Multiple times. She would be a multi-time WWE champion by now.
Oh, yeah.
Toxica on a pole match.
But because of that, no. They're not going to take the risk.
Nope.
She's a liability. She's another Austin Aries. That they're toxic. They're not worth it.
Yeah, because nobody's gonna sit here and say, "Hey, guess what? You're not great in the ring. You're not a great wrestler in the ring." No, in the ring, cool, you're fine and dandy.
Yeah,
but it's that character that you have that's not really a character, and that is you're actually you. That everybody knows you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, sure has been. Your stepdaddy can only get you so far.
My favorite moment probably from the tweet exchange was, out of all people, Renee Michelle, the wife of Rockstar Spud, Drake Maverick, was like, I was in the room when she said the N-word, so I'm like, I don't know why she's making out like, like I was there when she said it.
Except for her to be like, yeah, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
That's only making the shit worse.
You know what? Honestly, what it reminded me of, that episode of Chappelle's Show with Rick James basically saying, why would I do something just to do it? I just saying, like, yeah, I remember doing it.
Yeah, I didn't grab my feet on Eddie's couch. I don't know. Why would I do something like that? I remember grabbing my feet on Eddie's couch.
Reminds me of Mad TV when they were doing the filming a party all the time. All right, I'm going to be outside. Tessa was outside. She didn't say that. She didn't say the N-word. I didn't hear it. I'm going to be outside. So, Mad
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yes, Chappelle, Mad TV aside, let's talk about the final one before we get to our favorite moments and memories, and then we'll touch upon the lawsuit because goddamn that lawsuit. Let's talk about, when you think of Lucha Underground, one of the great parts about it, guys, was the focus and primal focus on intergender wrestling, who we saw people like Taya there, like Paul mentioned, Cobra Moon, Thunder Rosa. We got to see Melina was even in there, Carly Perez, Katrina, everybody that was in there. We mentioned Eva Lee. So many great women came through Lucha Underground, Mariposa, but one in particular that was always the focal point was the one and only Sexy Star. And Sexy Star, the controversy that comes around this, the ultimate puta. She wrestled a match with Rosemary and AAA and literally broke this poor woman's arm for no goddamn reason when she had beat up the other woman in the fucking match. Oh, Sexy Star. So I will go with Mo on you for this one, man, and then we'll move to Dan, then Paul, then Rob. Mo, your thoughts on Sexy Star, the incident with Rosemary and her shot on Lucha Underground?
So we literally just got done talking about like Tessa Blanchard, Eva Lise, and how they, especially with Tessa, there was not a ceiling, but there was no ceiling. You knew this was a star. You're gonna make it. Oh my God, where can we go? Character stopped it fucking short. I remember there was a time where already we were hearing of, not only Prince Puma's gonna go to WWE, but Sexy Star. sexy star this, sexy star that. She's so big, she's such a big star, this and that. Da, 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 da. I even got behind it. You know what I mean? Was it a former? I forgot what she was, but she was really good at what she did, even though she was relatively new to the business, and it just worked for her, and I liked it. But, and I say this, but when you go in there and regardless of the circumstances, regardless of your attitude, regardless of anything, throw it all out the fucking window. If you take liberties with anyone in that fucking ring, rep included, you don't belong in this fucking business. And there's a reason why she didn't survive that fucking incident. There's a reason why she had to turn to fucking boxing and got her ass beat.
Oh God,
there's fucking reasons for it. There is no excuse. There is no leeway. There's no. I've been watching Suits. There's no legal way around this. There's no fucking loophole. There's no scapegoat. There's no nothing. You took liberties on somebody who, one, is beloved. Let's be honest here. Rosemary is beloved, whether you follow TNA or not. She has a big following. You took liberties with her, injured her in a big way. You didn't sprain her wrist. You didn't, make her roll her ankle. You didn't accidentally concuss her. No, you put her in a goddamn armbar and you snapped her forearm because you were mad at the fucking other broad.
Yes. You were mad at the wrong luchadora and you took it out on fucking
somebody. Now, granted, this was at this point, this was a whole other time in my life, a whole different eon, if you will. As somebody who practiced the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu art and was able to roll the ranks in the belts, that's a disgrace to your belt. To take liberties on somebody, regardless of the situation. This was not a life and death situation. You're not fighting for yourself, not fighting for your freedom, fighting for your health, whatever. This is a show, and you go that far. That's disrespectful to the business that you're in, and it's disrespectful to the belt that we wear that you're over here parading this fucking move around. That's a no. It's a big fat no.
Daniel, your thoughts on Sexy Star, a.k.a. Dolce, taking out Rosemary and AAA?
When I was a kid, I was always told that even if you don't like somebody, you still do business. Like, if you got to work with someone that you don't like, you deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You deal with it, you get through it. The fact that she did that intentionally, if it had been an accident, that'd be one thing. But this was so clearly intentional. And again, she wonders why she can't get work in any major promotion.
Whew. And we'll save Rob for last because Black Hearts. And Paul, go ahead for your Sexy Star, a.k.a. Dolce.
You know what amazes me is that Moses literally just laid it all out. I really ain't got to say nothing because Mo just took everything out of my mouth. I mean, literally, giggity. Anyways, no. Oh my. Anyways, no, but he literally said everything that I was gonna say. So now it's just like my point was just like, Rob, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr.
You dumb fucking bitch. We were so pissed off. You took our demon mother away from us. That was the wrong move.
How long was she out? 6 months?
A long time.
Yeah, 6-8 months. Yep.
Yeah, she was out for a minute.
The fact that you even thought this was a good idea to go against somebody like that proves why you had to leave wrestling and get your ass beat in a boxing ring. The fact that the whole wrestling world got behind Rosemary was a beautiful sight to see. The fact that they hated on your stupid ass for what you did. Chris Jericho, who none of us, and I mean none of us, can absolutely stand right now.
Hey guys.
Paul said you were a sexy piece of shit and you shouldn't be in this business anymore. And he's right. You shouldn't. The fact that you're running around Mexico right now in a wrestling ring calling yourself Sexy Dulce is fucking embarrassing. The fact that you're even allowed in a wrestling ring is just no good. To tie on to what Mo said, if you do have a belt in BJJ, I hope they fucking took it away from you.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they took it from you and didn't string you up, I'm not. I'm going to stop there because we're going to get. We're going to get flagged. We can't do that.
Can't do it.
Is that the new name for the Black Hearts? The Flag Hearts? The Flag Hearts. Can we do that? We
just get flagged left and right.
Flag.
Jesus gracious.
Oh.
And we didn't even mention Bugatti, man.
Well, we're
about. You get a flag. You get a flag.
Your account's banned. Your account's banned.
Well, we're
you
about
don't make the list.
Don't say Bugatti, man.
Well, we're about to, because Mini Bugatti Man, if you put him in a dryer, better known as Prince Puma, aka Ricochet. Hey. And first of all, I love me some Ricochet. I do. Prince Puma, his character was something that I was in awe of. The Rey Mysterio match that he had in Ultima Lucha for Lucha Underground was amazing. The dream matches and Rey coming in after his WWE tenure. So I will start with the California boys. We'll go 1, 2, 3, and then Dan. Your thoughts, Paul Morales, on Prince Puma, Ricochet coming into Lucha Underground, really getting his name in there, this masked character, and the match with Rey Mysterio.
Dude, he came in there like a fucking ball of fire, and he literally just took everybody by storm. I mean, he was everything that I think that whole Lucha Underground actually needed him. And don't tell me that they didn't, because it looks like it, because I can literally tell you that they needed him. And it looked like he was just enjoying himself, having so much fun. Coming from, I don't really remember where the hell he was. Where the hell was he before he was there?
Wrestle Circus.
AWG?
Yeah. He was rocking indies.
Yeah, and a dude went there, made a name for himself, and he had a spotlight on him, and literally just took everybody's breath away with all everything that he did in the ring. And to me, it was beautiful. It was beautiful to see him just shine in Lucha Underground. So that's just my opinion.
Rob, hit us. Prince Puma, Rey Mysterio, and Prince Puma in Lucha Underground.
You know, I actually saw Prince Puma before I saw Ricochet. And when I saw Prince Puma, it was just like, this motherfucker knows Pumas can't fly, right? Like, goddamn. Like, this motherfucker was doing some
They can't.
But yeah, could have fooled me. But when I did finally see Ricochet, I turned into the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. You know, you kind of see everything matching up, and I was just like, God damn, like, this guy is incredible. He should be on a bigger stage. And then he got signed to WWE, and we know how that went. It was okay, but it could have been better. But just the matches that he had, just like, everything was 10 out of 10. Like, Lucha, his title reign was awesome. Like, to me, he was Lucha Underground.
Mo, hit us with your Prince Puma, Ricochet, Rey Mysterio match and the debut of Prince Puma in the Lucha Underground.
I think Rob put it perfectly by saying he was Lucha Underground. That's what it was that these two guys had brought up. Both Rob and Paul were talking about that they needed Prince Puma. This guy needed to be here. They needed him, and the reality is because, again, we go back to tie into the big producer being Robert Rodriguez. They had many a heels. They had many a bad guys, bunch of villains. Who's the hero to save us all? It can't be Rey Mysterio. So who else can we get? And Prince Puma was, I don't want to say born out of it, but that's exactly what he was. He was the guy that you couldn't help but cheer and pray to win. Come on, get back. You got behind him no matter what, no matter the match, no matter the opponent. You got behind him. And I, like Rob, found Prince Puma before I found Ricochet. However, I found Ricochet before the East talk started happening. So I saw him wrestle Circus. I seen him doing indies, working with the young Cody Rhodes and all this other stuff. And then I found out that he too was a New Japan guy, and him working with Will Ospreay and some other dudes. He never won the singles belt, but he was a multiple time junior tag champ. And so you got excited over it. What could he bring to the E his match with Rey Mysterio is known as the best match in Lucha Underground. I will probably go on and say it's the best match in Lucha Underground history. Not my all-time favorite, but it is probably one of the tops. And his E-run, as disappointing as it was, and as disappointed as I am that it didn't go any further than it did, because he killed it in NXT and couldn't get out of his own way, or apparently out of Vince's way, on the main show. But now I get to enjoy him in a similar light that he had in Lucha Underground, just minus the mask, and make him a bad guy. The blood, the guts are there. The over-the-top theatrics are there. His stupid catchphrase is annoying as shit. Attaboys. So it's as much as the E fumbled him, I'm glad. I'm glad they fumbled him because he's better right now in AEW. And yeah, he was 100% Lucha Underground. He was the face of Lucha Underground, 100%.
The ultimate hero, the ultimate protagonist that was Prince Puma. Dan, talk about Prince Puma and Rey Mysterio and Prince Puma and his run in Lucha Underground.
Talk about it.
You know, I good for him. It got more eyes on him. He was able to make him some money. You know, can never fault people for that. Do wish the dude would give the social media a rest.
Yeah.
Come on. It's not that bad.
Oh, now I will say that I'm going to list some names of people that were in Lucha Underground so people can get a good rendition of this. So, of course, one of the other integral parts, Johnny Mundo, the former
Johnny insert last name.
Johnny insert last name. King Cuerno, of course, who was Santos Escobar. The final Lucha Underground champion, Jake Hager, a.k.a. Jake Strong. Tony Khan is a communist. That freaking tweet, Jesus. Mil Muertes, the former Judas Macias, who was in TNA. Exolicious, Sonny Kiss. Oh, my goodness. We had as well Sons of Havoc, the former M-Dog 20, Matt Cross.
Matt Cross.
And Helico.
And
Jack Evans, yes. Of course, we have to mention this because he is now getting a big push as JC Mateo on SmackDown, of course, New Japan. Jeff Cobb.
Monster
Matanza Cueto.
One of the absolute best. We mentioned Phoenix. We mentioned Pentagon. I got to put him over here as well because of one of the unsung heroes, PJ Black, who was also
yeah.
Early run, but good run.
Yes. Desmond X, somebody who will go on to be Wesley, the one and only Desmond Xavier. Daga, friggin' Aerostar, who I was so happy to see. Dr.
Jumping off of everything from the top.
That's the thing. You have such names like these, and I mentioned them in such high praise, and then you have It Ain't Easy But Being Sleazy. But everybody put the middle finger up. Joey Ryan. Right here, Joey Ryan.
Yeah.
That
piece of shit.
That happened.
You had Jeremiah Crane, the one and only Sammy Callahan. Oh, God. Guys, the names that we're listening here just makes me smile. And, I mean, gets to see a lot of these people. Here's one that a lot of people don't even remember. Big Rick. Ezekiel Jackson was an integral part of the first part of season of Lucha.
First off, that was the best fucking run Ezekiel Jackson's ever had in his professional wrestling career. I'm not even mad at his Lucha Underground run. It was better than his WWE run.
Cortez Castro, Ricky Reyes, and him, yes. Oh, God. Then they killed poor Big Rick off. They
killed him. We mentioned no better way for him to go away.
They killed him, Karrion Kross, a.k.a. the White Rabbit, with Paul London for Acid Trip. We had to give him a special shout-out. Killed poor Masquerita Sagrada. We had Johnny Mundo killed Vibora, a.k.a. Judas Devin Luchasaurus. They were a lot of killings up in this motherfucker.
Whole bunch.
You had Dario Cueto. And one thing I have to mention, besides the Cuetos in the story, out of all the people they got, and a lot of people forget this, comedian Godfrey, we mentioned earlier. Godfrey was the guy who played the cop who was arresting Dario Cueto in it. Like, out of everybody, you got Godfrey.
The best thing ever.
Oh, my God. Like, y'all, this is what I'm talking about with the memories. So, one of the things I have to mention as well, another one, I have to put him over because he's been on AEW, TNN, everyone. And everybody chanted it, and because it's one of my favorite Mark Morrison songs. Return of the Mac. Willie Mack.
Willie Mack.
Yeah. Oh.
Golly. Where is Willie Mack?
I know. All right.
Not on TV, that's for sure.
That's unfortunate.
Well, before he was driving, I have to put this name in here. Before he was swerving and driving, one of the best feuds in Lucha Underground history was Killshot and that boy, That boy. Oh, friggin' AR Fox.
AR Fox.
Dante Fox, Jesus. Like, can we? That's another one. You want to talk about blood, folks? The Kill Shot and Dante Fox matches that we saw in Lucha Underground. Boy, y'all don't even know what the balcony. That was the thing. Everybody jumping off the balcony. That's what I loved. And
what a spot.
I cannot stress any more of just how unique this brand was. And I think for all of y'all, I got to, before we get into the lawsuit and this one bringing over the MLW stuff over here, good God, we're going to get into that. But when you think of Lucha Underground, there's so many great moments and memories. What are some of the best takeaways that you guys got from Lucha Underground? I'll say this right now: fun, entertainment, a wrestling telenovela, and just something different and unique for everybody. And I'll start with you, Bo. Your thoughts on what we can get taken away from Lucha Underground?
I don't want to say it like how everybody's been agreeing that, yes, the words we've all been using, but to piggyback yours, that's perfect. It was exactly that. It was a wrestling telenovela. It gave you the theatrics. It gave you the sport. It gave you the blood. It gave you the drama. Gave you the funnies at time, suspense, you name it. It was a live action movie that we got to enjoy for 3 seasons. We got to see some of our favorite wrestlers from the past, some guys that we got to fall in love with, some girls we got to fall in love with. It was great. It was what the wrestling world needed, especially during this time where you had people who were either falling off of the E-wagon or joining the New Japan wagon or just falling out of wrestling in general. This was that time and place to finally get something that is, it doesn't matter what it is, but this is wrestling. Oh, well, what the fuck? And eyes were driven to it. Eyes were all over it. Like I said, everybody was clamoring for these guys' contracts to go up, so this guy can go here, so this girl can go there, so this. But it was, for the time that we had it, it was excellent. For the time that we had it, it gave you memories. It made you, or at least in my opinion, it gave me the old feels of, I always use this, the Attitude Era, when we were first getting into it, where you were counting down the minutes, kept looking at that microwave clock. All right, I got 5 minutes for the show starts. I got 2 minutes for the show starts. Just to rush in the living room, to turn on the El Rey network if you were lucky enough to have it, and see what chaos can we bring you this week. How suspenseful can we make it before we give you the awesome Lucha Libre action? It was awesome. I miss it. I hope in some way, some cool form, it can be brought back. But it would have to be done right. You cannot bring it back just because. It has to be done right.
Daniel Crimmins, your thoughts on the takeaways that we got from Lucha Underground?
You know, it exposed a lot of, I don't know if exposed is the right word. It brought a lot of people.
There we go.
It got a lot of eyes on a lot of people who maybe otherwise wouldn't have been. Look at where a lot of that talent is now. You have Swerve, who's killing it in AEW. You've got Jeff Cobb. I refuse to call him JC Mateo.
Yeah, it's such a shit name. He sounds Mexican.
I don't know what's worse, that or Talatonga.
You're fuck that. That's what they named him.
Not
Well,
yet.
Not yet.
Not
You still hit
yet.
the,
Hey, you're tall, Tala. What the fuck?
it's
But
the double D.
point being, it got a lot of eyes on people that we may not have otherwise seen.
Yep.
So, and I think it was a really exciting concept. Something like that, to me, honestly, it was lightning in a bottle. You know, think of what ECW was in the 90s. Something like that, there is no way to repeat that. So,
I think you're right.
I don't think there's any way that they could redo Lucha Underground, bring it back, whatever. I don't think it's possible.
Rob hit it.
Just leave it. To quote that sad, sappy Ric Flair retirement song, leave the memories alone.
This man taking it back a few years. Leave the memories alone. Hit it, Rob.
I will never retire.
I feel like walking out in just my robe now.
Heyo, now we're talking.
Yeah, Mike.
No, you got to do that on an airplane, Rob.
Over here walking out in his robe.
I would definitely do that one. I got some color-coded robes up in this bitch. Anyway,
Don't hit
yeah, I know. We've seen them.
Yes, we have.
I'm sure he's got a boa too in the closet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He could just throw the cat over his shoulder and just call it a boa.
That's true. That is true.
I
But
channel my inner Jorgen von Strangle, Mr. Tulip Toad. Anyway, go ahead.
You could just throw Mr. Jackson around his shoulders and be like, "Hey."
There you go. But my thoughts, if you're watching this and you're a real wrestling fan and you have absolutely no idea what we're talking about, if you enjoy cinematic stuff, if you enjoy wrestling, if you enjoy deathmatch stuff, I I can't get this vision out of my head of Marty the Moth getting with the cinder blocks.
Oh God,
Marty the Moth Martinez was so fucking underrated. That guy was awesome.
He should have gone farther and Tough Enough. Like the WWE,
they really should have.
He really should have. Like that's all I've been thinking about this entire time we've been talking.
He was so good.
He was
so good.
He was really good. But if you enjoy cinematics, if you enjoy wrestling, if you enjoy any aspect of what's out there right now, and you're kind of in a rut with WWE and AEW, which I know many people are, do yourself a favor and go watch Lucha Underground. I think it'll scratch the itch for what you may be clamoring for, because there's something there for everybody. And
we've got Dirty Dom.
Oh, that's right.
Oh God, Dirty Dom was in Lucha Underground with it.
That's right. The super young version of Dirty Dom.
Yeah. Like I said, there's something for everybody. So do yourself a favor and get lost in the temple. But not too lost. But I while we're on it, I want to give a shout out to our boy Harold.
Hey.
He actually had the pleasure of going to a taping, and he said it was the most miserable experience of his life because they had to stand for 3 hours. He went with his wife, who got kicked in the head by Jock Evans. So he did say sorry. So
there's a memory.
They did not have the best experience, but you'll have a good experience watching the show. Yeah, guaranteed.
Paul, take it away.
You
can't take it away.
Oh, him frozen.
He's frozen.
Not taken away.
You gotta take it away.
You gotta take it away.
Oh, okay. So before we get to thoughts, there is one final topic. Now
His face says it all.
His face says. Okay, so there's one final topic that we're going to get into before we get his takeaway, and he gets back in here. There was a lawsuit filed on February 6, 2019. It was reported by King Cuerno, a.k.a. Santos Escobar, had filed a lawsuit in California against the El Rey Network and the Baba G production company that made Lucha Underground. The lawsuit claimed that Lucha Underground's contracts illegally restricted wrestlers from working in their lawful profession by blocking them working for other wrestling companies until their multi-year contracts expired. Production of the series ended in less than 4 years, despite producers signing some original cast member wrestlers to 5-year exclusive contracts. Alcantar, that being King Cuerno Santos, stated that wrestlers' pay was usually less than $1,000 per appearance, with some wrestling cast members earning only about $4,000 a year from the show. Alcantar's lawyer also revealed that he had filed a class action lawsuit against Lucha Underground on behalf of other wrestlers, claiming their contracts too were illegal under California labor law. Other wrestlers, Ivelisse, Joey Ryan, and Melissa Cervantes, who played Corporate Moon, a.k.a. Thunder Rosa, joined the class seeking to invalidate their contracts. As of March 26, 2019, all lawsuits have been settled in the wrestlers' favor, and they were freed from their contracts. Guys, wow, what a way to end Lucha Underground, the epilogue, so to speak, of what would happen with this company. And we'll start with Roberto on this. Your thoughts on the lawsuit filed by all the wrestlers and the end of Lucha Underground?
This is kind of an unfortunate situation. Because around the time this lawsuit had come out, I'm, still watching Lucha Underground and hoping for a next season. And from the way the lawsuit sounded, I was like, well, I guess that's the end. Guess that's the end of that. I guess I got to go watch something else. It's really unfortunate because I think what Dan said was very accurate. It was lightning in a bottle. And if they were to go and try and replicate that again, it wouldn't have the same magic, I think. But they can try.
They can try.
So my apologies, fellas. My computer all of a sudden restarted.
You're sitting too hard.
Sitting just like Joe Hendry with that Joe Hendry.
I know. I'm all like,
yep.
Say his name and he appears.
So we'll save you last because you need
freezes
on this. Yes, you're freezing. So Mo, we'll go to you next. Your thoughts on the lawsuit from Santos Escobar, the class action lawsuit against Lucha Underground, the epilogue. So what would be the end of Lucha Underground?
To hear that these guys were making nothing, it kind of boiled the blood a little bit, because it's like, this thing is hot. This thing is great. As Rob said, you're sitting there, you're waiting to hear about season 4, maybe 5, 6, whatever, as long as we can keep this momentum going. And then it's like, okay, I'm at the point of, we hear about the lawsuit. We know how legitimate it is. We know how many of these guys are already being looked at to go elsewhere. Fine. It sucks. I don't want this to go away, but if it gets a Prince Puma out, fine. If it gets, at this time, a Johnny Mundo out, fine. If it gets, Ray Phoenix and Pentagon out, fine. But it was so just backhanded. It felt so weird. Like, you're going to tell me that these guys made nothing, but yet it was hot. It was literally trying to become a third brand, if you will, a must-see brand of wrestling, but these guys were getting shafted. So as much as it shocked me, threw me for a loop, I'm glad that it went down. I'm glad that it ended, because without that, we wouldn't have gotten what we have now. Granted, that is, almost 7 years later, but still, I'll take what we have today than forcing a 4th season out of Lucha Underground that may have not have been as good as the first 3. I'll take it.
Dan, your thoughts on the lawsuit, the class action lawsuit against Lucha Underground?
Well, like Rob said, I was kind of hoping for another season, but then it's like, well, that's the end of that.
End of that.
Mm-hmm. And it's fucking sad when they had the money to fucking pay their talent. And, you always hear horror stories about greedy promoters. This could have been something even bigger than it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it was really I remember it was really starting to catch on, and the fact that this is how it ended is sad.
So Paul Morales, aka Mr. Freeze, I do have to ask you this, kind sir.
Cool it.
He said, "Cool it."
It's time for an ice age.
I was going to say, please don't tell me it happened again, but it almost did.
So Paul,
no, I'm just joking.
We have 2 points here. So your thoughts on the lawsuit, and since you froze on the last question, thoughts on the lawsuit and thoughts on the takeaways from Lucha Underground. Go ahead, kind sir.
Okay, so I will go back what Moses was saying before. It was such a great product. Like you really had all this talent that was there, and the production and everything that was going on, during that time, we were seeing so many amazing things going on. The fact that they weren't paid, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
You have the theatrics that Robert Rodriguez was bringing in. You had the storylines that you had the wrestling aspect of it, of it all, that made everybody interested, and you just wish you had more of it, but we didn't. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, and we got what we got. So to me, it just seems like this could have been AEW before AEW became new.
That's a great comparison. Yep.
This could have been that launch for what AEW could have produced. We wouldn't have needed AEW. We would have had Lucha Underground be that essential other company that a lot of us could have been drawn to, and a lot of us could have thought this would be excellent if we could do this, if we could see this, if we can pretty much everything we see in AEW as far as like the wrestling aspect, not the storyline shit, but the wrestling aspect we could have seen in Lucha Underground. So, but we didn't. Unfortunately, we only got the seasons that we got, and that sucks. And as far as the lawsuit, I mean, dude, you pay people, man. You aren't Vince McMahon who ain't gonna pay nobody.
Yep.
Yes, I used him as an example because that's
boy.
I won't pay you.
I won't pay you.
No, that guy will pay you. That guy will pay anybody.
Overpay you.
Overpaid. So I will say this: the Lucha Underground legacy, guys. It was a time. It was something for newer fans. Go back and watch it, not just because us fine gentlemen enjoy it, but also it gives you something to learn about, because that's what's great about life in itself and professional wrestling. It's different type of art forms. There's a variety. There's something for everybody. Just don't watch the 2020 MLW version because they tried, but good God. Look at Mo's face.
They tried too hard.
Yes.
And failed even harder, which I have no idea how that happens. I don't know how that, your effort was there and it still went to shit.
I think we can all agree, like that 2020 incarnation of that with MLW was the shit.
Oh, right there?
They tried.
I was so excited for it, too. That's what makes it all that much worse. There was many people so excited for it. You got to see, it was a Dario Cueto, and you were like, "Oh my God, okay, we're gonna get this happening. Maybe maybe we'll get the monster with tons of Cueto. Maybe it'll be, Phoenix." He didn't really know who it was gonna be, but the excitement, the anticipation was there. And then when they just absolutely dog shit the bed, you were like, you killed what I was hoping for. You killed anything that got me excited for this. And now, as much as I always say, the historians, the guys that are willing to go back and be like, oh, this is what I really want, give me something of the old nostalgic era or whatever. If they bring it back, that is exactly what it would be. It would be all nostalgic. You'd love it for the nostalgia. I don't think we could replicate the excitement and enthusiasm that we had for the first 3 seasons. But again, even if they were to try to do it, like I said earlier, it would have to be done 100% right. You couldn't half-ass it. You couldn't go in there with half a chub. You got to be ready to go, baby. You got to be ready to go. Get you a blue chew and get in there. You know what I'm saying?
You know what excites me though, and this is kind of derivative from what we're talking about. Looks like Kota Ibushi came back on Collision. So
let's fucking go.
Imagine if Kota Ibushi was in Lucha Underground.
Hey, he was in the Cruiserweight Classic when that was airing. So imagine him going to Lucha Underground or do more Japan stuff. Let's go.
You know for sure he would have did that moonsault off that balcony.
Hey.
Oh God.
Woo.
Aerostar, eat your heart out.
But the little breaking news, Jones. But I digress. Continue.
No, you're fine. You're fine, bro. Yeah, we were just saying. I love Selena De La Renta. We all do. Selena De La Renta. But nothing, and I want to just touch it briefly because Mo shaking his head was hilarious. But we can all agree it was great, but nothing can beat what the original was. It was fine. They tried a little too hard, but you can't replicate something that was just so unique at its time and really thwarted what we would get with a lot of great wrestling companies and bringing up talent. So I think the best way to end this too is as well kind of preview what we get with our 4th episode, guys, because we have a lot of topics coming from the Wrestling Roundtable. But I figured since its 23-year inception, we are going to talk about the 23-year anniversary of TNA Wrestling.
Hey, all right.
Strong, let's go. We're going to talk about matches. We're going to talk about
Long live Impact Wrestling.
Yes, we're going to talk about Tag Teams Wrestling X Division. We're going to talk about Moses Marquez's 2 favorite matches, that being the Fish Market Street Fight with Team 3D against Shark Boy and Curry Man, and of course, the infamous Reverse Battle Royal. I'm going to throw you in the ring, then I'm going to throw you back out the ring, and then the final 2 are going to wrestle in a one-on-one match. Bro, here's what we're going to do. So there's going to be a lot of that.
Oh, God.
So
I'm going to start watching some old TNA episodes. I love it.
Yes, so we're going to be talking 23 years of TNA, and y'all.
He'll watch old TNA wrestling, but he won't watch any old AWA wrestling.
I was waiting for the reference. Yes.
Are we going to do this? We're going to do this on this show too, son of a bitch. This goddamn. Was it almost 4 hours of bullshit? 4 hours of bullshit, and then the main event, the guy gets disqualified in a first blood match.
Oh shit!
What in the hell? It just I couldn't. Oh no! Sorry, no. He got disqualified for bleeding for no reason. That's what it was. Disqualified for bleeding for no reason. I can't do AWA ever again.
I think
and again,
Mo
I'm a guy who likes the history. I'm a guy. I've just dropped the whole gimmick. I'm a guy who likes the history. Okay, and that show fucking just threw me.
I think Mo would much rather admit his love for the greatest referee of all time.
If you fucking say his name on this goddamn show, I swear to God.
Nick Patrick.
Nick
Patrick.
NP, baby. Oh, so I think that's the
Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg.
Another Bill Goldberg.
I think that's the best way to end it. So thank you for listening to the Wrestling Roundtable. I'm crying. Fuck the AW. And Larry's a big for that matter. I'm kidding. But with that being said, let's get into the plugs, guys, because we got predictions in all sorts of form here on this channel and the Max channel, because damn it, we got Night of Champions. Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. Pacific, and whatever the fuck time it is over in Saudi Arabia, 7 or 8 p.m. We got 4 matches announced so far. The finals of the King and the Queen of the Ring, Cena and Punk, and the Cena Pipe Bomb that we all saw last night. And, of course, Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa for the U.S. title. 4 matches thus far. So we'll all be back next week for some predicciones. Y'all, we got some plugs to do. Not those kind of plugs, but we got plugs to do. So, hey-o, giggity. So that being said, we will start with Moses Marquez, because Moses, not only are you featured on this fine channel, and we thank you as well for your contributions to this channel, but your contributions,
Moses, like you, will be up for him for an hour before he finishes up. So go ahead, Moses.
First of all, why you gotta be like that, man? I
gotta be like that, bro.
Max, go ahead.
Gracious. No, I appreciate it. No, I love doing these. These are fun. It is a different style of everything else that I love that we've been doing as far as content creations. Max Wrestling is how we all got started. We've all met there at this point. RWT was why we got there. But each and every Thursday, you can catch me on Max Wrestling with my other counterpart, Daz Lee. Mike knows him too well from his days of doing the Max show. Just a lovely recap of what happened, talk about the hot topics. But the boys of the TSK, that's what's hot right now. That's what we got coming out all the time is pay-per-view reviews. We're going to try to do some more different cool stuff. Some other things are happening. I know we want to do a live stream or two. A couple live reactions will come to mind. So there's a lot happening. So, of course, you can catch me each and every Thursday on the Max Wrestling, or I guess after every big pay-per-view, kicking it with the boys in the TSK.
All righty. And also, man, YouTube channel.
That's right. It's Max Wrestling. It's youtube.com/Max Wrestling. And the new one that everybody should go and subscribe to right now is youtube.com/ TSK All FN Day.
Yes. So links will be in the description. I want to get both YouTubes in because there's a lot of great stuff coming. Get in there. I'm in there.
Get in there.
So moving on over to Paul Morales, who just came back. What up, man? What up, man? Where can we follow you on the socials? Go ahead.
He's sitting.
If you hit up my X, my link tree is in my bio. Of course, my bio is actually in my YouTube, which you could find in the link below, and where you could find all of us. And if you could find me with this knucklehead right here, over here.
Hey.
Yeah, we used to do some reviews of some things, and we used to do some reviews of some pay-per-views, and one that he didn't like, but we ended up doing it anyway.
We just sat on it.
For 4 hours. Yes, that was shout out number 3. But of course, you can find me with these 2 gentlemen on those ends over there on the weekly review, which will be in the link below. And of course,
but Mr. not Bill Goldberg.
Mr. Rob, where can we find you at, my brother?
You can't see me, but deep into the heart of wrestling with this gentleman over here, Mr. Michael Larkin, and the Demon Sister, Nico, the Demoness. We will be coming up this week with some predictions. We just recently released a watch through of Kenta Kobashi and Samoan Joseph, Joey Samoa, as he's
Joey Samoa
from Southern California. Check that out on Mike's YouTube. You want to follow our social media, Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling, Linktree /Blackhearts EPZ3. You can catch me with Mo, DC, the OG Herald, and not Kyle. Fuck you,
Kyle. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. You catch us over kicking it with the TSK. Like Mo mentioned, we'll be doing some reviews. Maybe we'll get into some new stuff. So you'll have to subscribe. The sourest of sauce. You'll have to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Kicking It with the TSK. It'll be down in the link. TSK All MFN Day, because you know what it is. If you want to follow me, and I would tread lightly. No, wait, that's Demon Talk. Sorry. Linktree / Ham Rob.
Hey, he's Rob.
We've got a lot of non-wrestling things going. Some music. If you're into metal, follow me. If you're not into metal, follow me. Regardless, follow me.
That's right.
Hit us.
He's Rob.
I'm Rob.
Daniel.
Not ICP.
Not ICP.
Pundit should be dropping tomorrow. I had to re-upload it again because YouTube didn't like me.
Get it together, YouTube.
Come
what
on,
the hell, YouTube?
Don't be a screw tube. Come on, YouTube.
Got some cool stuff coming, and you know what? TSK, we got plenty of stuff coming for you folks. You know, we are taking over. It's just a matter of time. You know, you can check Mike and I out on Uncaged, our most recent episode. We were joined by, hey, it's Rob.
Hey, he's Rob.
Where we discussed the life and times of Sabu. And you can check Paul, Mike, and myself with the weekly review. All those links are going to be down below somewhere. Wherever Mike puts this stuff. Here, there, everywhere. Somewhere.
But will Paul come back? Will Paul come back in time?
Well, I will say that
the world may never know.
So I got to add on to that.
Mike, when are we recording again?
Oh, dude. We're going to get into that. So first of all, much like John Cena last night, Paul Morales has left the motherfucking building. So with that being said, SNF Network shows, you can check it out on the YouTube channel. Like Dan mentioned, the weekly review. Uncaged, Paul's going to be joining us as we talk about the CM Punk era of AEW, his 2 years in AEW. Tell me when I'm telling lies. The Bucks are fighting. The Jungle Boys are fighting. Everybody's fighting. It's a whole lot of drama. Oh, yo, mama! And we're going to record that very soon. We also have Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling, much like Robert said, along with our girl Nicola McDonald. We're going to be doing predictions. We are going to be covering the origins of Su Yung. We got a lot of stuff coming. We got the LFC podcast. LFC's coming to the UK July 4th and July 6th.
Hey.
From International Lingerie Fighting Championships. The debut of Danny Moe, who's been on WWE, AEW, and so much more is going to be there. The return of Ray Lynn, who we've seen on WoW and so many things. It's a potpourri of awesomeness. And you can check out Steve and Mike's show, which is dropping soon. Hi, Steve. Not ICP.
Hi, Steve. Not ICP.
And we have the Pop Culture History Podcast, the weekly review on Cage, and so much more on this fine channel. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's MCL92, MCL1, and Larkin_92, MLarkinMB on the Instagram. Links will be in the description. Y'all, I love these sons of guns, and I love each and every one of you that tunes into these fine programs. So for Daniel Crimmins, Moses Marquez, Robert Davis, Mike Larkin, and the now absent Paul Morales, who left the motherfudging building. You can't see. Thank you for listening. We'll be back in episode 4 for the Wrestling Roundtable. And as always, we're going to throw up too sweet, everybody.
I will pay you.
I'll pay you.
We won't pay you.
Over.